if somebody bought this house, let's say, and they knew what they were doing, they can cut this tree back and graft it, and it'll be pretty cool. Love living out here and walking around the drive. Mango tree, mango tree, mango tree. This is, wow. Small old houses, big trees. Coconuts and mangoes are the two most popular things you'll find on streets out here. Look at all that bloom on that mango tree. Hello everybody. I live in a place called Lake Worth, Florida. And I mean, anywhere in South Florida, in the old days, used to be a bunch of old mango groves. Really cool, really cool. If you love fruit trees, every single day when I'm driving down the street, I see fruit trees, and I just look at the kind. The more I learn about trees, the more excited I am about studying them and seeing what people have and thinking, oh, I'm gonna go to that house one day and so on. Well, I just dropped my car off to get an oil change, and the mechanic said, come back in about an hour, which is great because I was going to the dealership and it would be like come back in a day. It was terrible. But now it's like come back in an hour. So I had an hour to walk down one of these streets, these old streets, and it's really cool. So I want to flip the camera around and show you what it looks like to live in a place where mango trees are growing on the street. That I'm sure a lot of these are just seedlings that people just threw in their backyard and they grew into trees. You know, you could usually tell when somebody has a grafted trees because they don't usually have one, they usually have several, and they're usually in some type of order, maybe in a line or a row. But when people just have various trees planted somewhere or just one tree, it's usually a seedling. That's not 100% all the time, but that's the way I find it usually is. But I'm going to walk down this cool street I was just walking down that's on the way to my mechanic because I just decided to take a walk. It's a nice day here, so let me flip this around. All right, so there is the street that way. There's a car coming, but there's the street that way, and there's some coconut trees down there and so on. But I just walked down this street this way, and coming down this street right there, I already see a mango tree. And even some of these apartment complexes have trees, but there's a nice mango tree there. And again, a lot of these seeded trees, seedling trees that are just thrown there, people aren't caring about how big they grow, and they're just growing. So that one's pretty big. If you had a grafted tree and you knew what you were doing, you probably don't want to get the trees, let the trees get that big, because then you're just feeding the birds. And it's not the best way to do it, but it's just a wild mango tree. And interesting, this looks like another fruit tree here in front of it, but and there's just so many trees. So we're gonna just take a walk here and look how cool this street is in general with everything closed the way it is. That's a beautiful street, and there are some beautiful houses here as well. So this is an area where I would often go coconut hunting. There's a lot of coconuts on this tree. And besides mango, there's other fruits as well, but the one you see most here is people with mango trees. Oh wow, such beautiful houses. Old beautiful houses. But there you go, there's another mango tree right in front of someone's house. You know, they have a lot of room for more trees too. And this area, I guess there's so much competition from other trees, people aren't worried about people taking fruit, but here we go. Look at that, big old mango trees. Big old mango trees, look at that, right on the street. So you come here during mango season, I mean, and it is, if it's on the street, it's public, right? But there's just so many. So look at these old, beautiful houses here. Really beautiful. All right, so it seems almost like every house or every other house has a big mango tree. Such greenery on these little streets. This is a historical district also, as you see here, Lucerne Historical District on the sign. And look at this big mango tree in front of this beautiful old house. Really cool. So I mean, I never thought about this when I was not into fruit trees, which I pretty much always was. But the more I get into fruit trees and see all this, it's like I truly live in the place that I'm meant to be in. I mean, look at this. Mango tree right there. Really cool. And there's some coconut trees. But all right, so this house has this old mango tree. Now, if somebody bought this house, let's say, and they knew what they were doing, they can cut this tree back and graft it, and it'll be pretty cool. It'll be pretty cool. They could put a grafted variety if there's not a good variety on there also. But this house, so they have their mango tree here. Then they have 3 palm trees. See, you know, those were planted for aesthetics on purpose. But there's another mango tree. So, those are old mango trees. I mean, by the size of the bark, you're looking at maybe 60, 70, 80 years old. Really cool. And most likely seedlings, as I said. That's pretty cool. These people have a little garden in there. So here's a more. But look at that coconut tree right there. Look how many coconuts. Absolutely amazing. All these coconuts. Well, this person has a lot of coconuts. A lot. I just love living out here and walking around and driving. Now this house is cool. It's an old house, but looks like it's been restored and pretty modernized. Very cool, beautiful. But here it is. Look at this. This is so cool. Mango tree, mango tree, mango tree. This is, wow. I don't know how these mangoes taste because I hadn't been down this block in a while, I guess. But this one looks like it was cut back and then grew back because the bark is so big, or this trunk, but it's so short. So that was probably trimmed back. But these mango trees, this all used to be like a mango grove, from what I understand. Here's this big mango tree right here. I'll have to come back maybe and talk to some of the owners of these trees. Look, so big. And you would think like people would take a lot of these trees, mangoes, if they were during season, but there's just so many that it's like that's not happening. People don't need to do that. So now here's a yard that's more fenced in, but again, look how big that mango tree is. That, wow. Some of these mango trees are over 100 years old. Very cool. And it's really cool if you get one. A lot of these seedling trees are stringy and they're not that amazing. But when you get one, sometimes they're pretty amazing, and they are a seedling, and no one's even named them. So you can take, if you find one that you like, and you figure out it's a seedling, which often some people might think it's a seedling, but it's not. It's actually a grafted tree. But this Hayden were the old ones. Hayden used to be a popular one. Kent used to be a popular one. But if you take like a scion from this tree, this wild mango tree, and put it on your tree, and if this was truly a seedling, now you have your own named mango tree. Walter Zill actually was doing what I'm doing now. He saw a tree on the side of the road. It tasted like an apricot. So he got the scion, started propagating it, and called it apricot mango. Very cool. And that's how a lot of the trees were actually created. There was one called the guava, or it tasted like a guava, so he called it guava, but then they found out it was from somewhere in Southeast Asia or somewhere. It was already an established tree, but it took them years to find that out. But here's 2 big mango trees in this house. Small old houses, big trees. Big trees, 100 years old. Really cool. So I wanted to show you this street and just give you an idea of what an old neighborhood looks like with a bunch of old trees. And definitely some of these trees, here's looking down there. So I figured this would be cool for some people who don't live out here in an area like this. and they can get an idea of what it looks like. Because when I didn't live here or live somewhere I wanted to go, I always liked these videos of people walking on the streets and just showing what it looks like. So there's a main street. That's a busy street over there. That's called Dixie Highway. But we're right off Dixie Highway. See, here's a big tree, probably there before the electrical lines were. And it grew in 3 electrical lines. So now they got to keep it away from the electrical lines. But yeah, let's walk down here. There's some. This tree is wider, not as much trees on this street, but I think on the next block there is. But I just like walking and looking, seeing what people have in the yards. Now that's not a mango tree, but that is a cool tree. That is a big, cool tree. Wow. And for those of you that don't live here, that's a cool house too, but live here in South Florida, these are called banyan trees. Well, not that one, but that one. That's called a banyan tree. And the roots actually form their own trees. Really cool. This actually looks like an abandoned house. But you see, the roots actually come down and form their own tree. It's very cool. And sometimes at these abandoned houses, they have some old fruit trees, usually mango trees. But I don't know, I don't see any mango trees in that one. And you can see a line of coconuts over there. Coconuts and mangoes, maybe bananas, but coconuts and mangoes are the 2 most popular things you'll find on streets out here. And there's a bunch of coconuts there. So I used to drive around and go coconut hunting. And just, what I would do is I would pull up there and I would say, I see you got a lot of coconuts. I have a long pole and I'll get them and come home with a bunch of coconuts. Now this is cool. There's a mango tree on the corner here. Look at all that bloom. And I did a video with this with Alex at Tropical Lake because we are in December, the beginning of December, and look at all that bloom on that mango tree. Wow, and that's a big, beautiful mango tree. Really beautiful. So a lot of bloom on that side. Look at all those coconut trees, everybody. That whole street is so cool. And they're kind of tall and big. I don't know who's going to get those coconuts all the way that high, but look at this beautiful mango tree. And I love to taste this, and you can discover new mangoes. Really cool. All right, everybody. So I wanted to just share with you and do that little walk and just show you for fruit tree lovers, especially mango lovers, how amazing South Florida is. It's a little cooler today, and a little cool outside today, but that was so amazing. I love it. I love it. So not all areas are like this. This is an older area of South Florida, so it's like this in this area, but not all areas are like this. Some areas are very modernized. They cut down the trees. The houses have no trees around them, no shade. But this area called Lake Worth is an older area, and the whole area is like that. The whole area. One day I'll show you some other parts of the area like that if that's what you want to see. But I love it. I love it, and I love being here. And I haven't extensively done it during mango season because I'm so busy with my own mangoes, but it'd be cool to come back to these places and ask the owners, hey, can I try one of these mangoes, or give them one of mine and trade and see. That'd be really cool. Maybe next year I'll do that. I'll go around with my lemon meringue mangoes and I'll let them taste their mangoes and switch and get their reaction. Very good idea. All right, everybody. Put your comments, questions below. If you live in a neighborhood like this, I'd love to come and visit. especially if you're in South Florida. Let me know in the comments below. My email's below if you want to contact me. If you have a house and you have fruit trees and you want me to come out and feature you on the channel, just contact me. I'd love to do that. And until then, everybody, thank you for watching. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you for subscribing. Have a great day and keep growing.